Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcorian Guys, bringing you my guide for Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 on Master Ninja difficulty. Today we're doing Chapter 10, Submit or Die. And for us, since they're giving us the option, there's only one true answer to this. Actually, wait, no. I just realized what the chapter said. I had this whole thing planned out about like building up confidence and stuff, and then I realized what the actual chapter name was. And it's just like what it was with like Jak 2, where hold on, I'm checking my stuff here. Just like with Jak 2, where like they say surrender or die. Well, anyway, yeah, they may have given us two options, but we always have a third option, right? We have the third option of just saying, fuck it, we're not going to do either of those, and we're going to beat this damn level together. Because you know what? We're Hardcorians, and that's just what we do. We're going to get you past this level. You're going to win this. You're going to get past this. It doesn't matter, you know, what your skill level is. It doesn't matter, you know, what your reflexes are. All that matters is knowing and being able to essentially just, well, get that, you know, extra bit of confidence to be able to do these types of things. I mean, yeah, reflexes and skill do kind of matter just a little bit, but not nearly as much. Alright, anyway, that's enough talking about weird stuff. My joke was ruined anyway, so yeah, this is chapter 10, and starting off right off the bat, this is when we can finally get a level 3 weapon. Pick whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. I always go with Dragon Sword because it's just my go-to weapon anyway. Again, you can pick whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'd recommend going for a weapon that at least cuts, so that way you can get some nice bit of damage. I mean, granted, most weapons do, you know, delimb, but I just feel like, for some reason, I feel things like the Scythe and the Fang, the Tiger Fangs, and the Dragon Sword seem to work wonders. So, once you come up here, you're going to spawn these guys, and you're going to want to run back, charge up a red UT, and launch it straight at both of them. Hopefully you at least get one of them delimbed. If not both, that would be very nice. If you don't delimb one of them, just go back for another UT. You want to take them out in this corner, so that way you can avoid this fleet missile soldier here. Take him out from a range. He's dead. He's gone. He's buried. Easy. So yeah, this chapter also happens to include Zedonius for the first time inside the clock tower. And I just want to say that I hate the clock tower crap. I hate the gear platforming section. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. It sucks. But Zedonius, fight 1 isn't nearly as bad as he is when he gets to fight 2, when you have to fight him in the lava crap. Come over here, hide in this little hidey-ho, or wherever you feel, and charge with a nice UT, and you get some good kills out of it. But yeah, there's not really much new in this chapter going on, very, like, specifically, besides, of course, just maybe the bosses and just the landmine situation. But we'll cover that when we get there. Real quick, I want to talk about something. So, this is nothing important or nothing crazy, but it's pretty known within the community that I have of my own personal, you know, friend community that, oh, actually, real quick, we did talk about one thing before I get into that. So starting off with here, once you walk close to this doorway, you can actually pan the camera and you can see the dogs, and once you see the dogs, they'll start spawning out, or just set up an Inma Fang level 2 charge right there like I did, and you can get a good couple of kills on the dogs. You want to waste them. They're already spawned in anyway, so just waste them how you wish. Anyway, so it's no surprise that in my little small friendship community, people that know that God of War 4, the 2016 version, wasn't really my favorite iteration of God of War. Not that I hated it, I just don't really care for it that much. I thought it was just kind of alright. Wasn't anything special. I've beaten on its hardest setting, and I've talked about it plenty of times. I've actually considered maybe even doing a video essay on why I think Give Me God of War is just not a very good difficulty mode, but that's for another time if I ever even do a video essay about that. Because I've talked about it so much at this point, that's just ridiculous. Just as a little bit of tidbit of why I think it's not a great difficulty is because the enemies are just tanky, and that's mostly what they do, is they just tank up the enemies, they give them DT eventually, and there's just nothing really special. Like, you can, I mean, I see both sides of it, where it's like, oh, well, you know, one side's like, oh yeah, you can just cheese it, you know, you can throw the axe and make things easier, it makes the game kind of boring, but you can do that. And then there's the other side where it's like, well, of course it's boring. You're supposed to go for stuns. You're supposed to, like, you know, punch them into walls and stuff. And it's like, I get both sides. I get it. It's just, I still find it you know, a little bit on the sort of boring side, mostly because of like the walk and talks shit. I don't like that crap, but that's just me. Other than that, like, it's an okay game, and that's what I kind of want to talk about real quick is I whipped it out again out of curiosity. Just so I can, you know, I'll try playing it this time without using, you know, the throwing the Leviathan axe. And I will admit, I'm actually having a tad bit more fun with it because everything is kind of more close together. The enemies still attack about the same speed as they normally do. They just don't feel as aggressive as they possibly could be. Like, they are giving me some trouble, and I'm on the part where the armored enemies spawn, if you guys know what I'm talking about, where you get to that part where Atreus has to read one of the rune things, like, that's stuck in a wall, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, the place starts crumbling, and then the armored guys break out of the walls, and they come to attack you. There's like 2 that spawn in. That's a pretty damn notorious place because that's usually, at least for me, a run killer. Well, not a full run killer, but I call it that because, you know, for those that are new to it, it might be a run killer for them, and, you know, it might make it to where they don't want to play it anymore because, like, it can be kind of damning. But I will always say this, and I'll stick by my guns when I say this. The Baldur fight, at least in the first fight, is actually a pretty damn good, solid fight. Even if it is, you know, God of War 4, I still think it's at least good. I did actually change the controls to square and triangle for, like, light and heavy, which is very nice. There's a lot of nice stuff that God of War 4 does. Again, it's just mostly the climbing, the walk and talk shit I don't like. But other than that, I think it's a fine game. And now that I've actually played it today, I found myself actually enjoying it, at least in the beginning again. And I was like, wow, okay. Because again, I never really hated it. I just always had like this feeling of, it's just whatever. Alright, so anyway, come out here, whip out the Piercing Void, launch it right at this guy. If you don't have Nimpo, well, here you go. You get a free Devil Mushroom, might as well use it. Even if you don't have Nimpo, just, you know, grab the Devil Mushroom, equip Nimpo, and just Piercing Void this guy, because it's not worth the trouble of having him, you know, go up there and fight with the mines and fight with these assholes. And these things, these guns usually die in like 2 hits, 1 to 2 hits. But anyway, I left off on a sour note there for God of War. I do want to say that I kind of enjoy the game. It's just, I don't enjoy all aspects of it, but I do enjoy some of it. And I feel like giving God of War just isn't exactly, it's not exactly the hard mode that I was looking for, so to speak. Like, it's okay. It has its moments that are difficult, but it just doesn't feel like it's really rewarding, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, granted, not every difficulty has to be rewarding necessarily. It's just, those are the types of games that I'm more accustomed to. And Ninja Gaiden, you know, feeds that. Now, granted, you could also say, like, you know, earlier God of Wars were kind of the same, too, where, I mean, because, like, look at God of War 1, for example. Like, I never feel like I'm playing God mode until I get to Ares. That's a true statement of mine. I always feel like the enemies are just too weak, and they're just not really as aggressive. And that's talking about God of War 1. That's, like, one of my favorite games of all time. And, you know, even then, still, I feel like, you know, God mode for God of War 1 just isn't really great either. So it's not like I'm just hating God of War 4 just because it's God of War 4. I have my reasons. Like, I have the difficulties that I prefer, and I just find, you know, giving God of War a little bit on the slight edge of sort of boring-ish. And plus, I guess that's just my own subjective take, because, like, for the most part, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, you know, looter shooters, so to speak, even though, like, Bioshock's like my favorite game and you kind of loot and shoot in that game, literally. But, like, I just don't like the idea of having to find equipment and always equip stuff. I've never really been a big fan of that. I'm okay with it in Souls because, like, I feel like they do it pretty well there, but I just felt like with God of War it was just a little overkill and just kind of annoying. But that's my own personal take. If you enjoyed it, that's perfectly fine, and I have no qualms about that. You know, because I totally get it. It's just, for me, personally, you know, it's just like, I'd rather just hit things. That's just always been my take. But, like, you gotta see where I'm coming from, too, because I come from a sort of, like, platformer, you know, hack and slash background, so I never really did play that many RPGs back when I was a kid. I didn't start playing RPGs until I got a little bit older, when I actually realized that patience was fine, and playing RPGs was actually cool and not stupid. I did play Paper Mario when I was young, but that was probably the farthest I've ever really done. Well, that and Mario and Luigi, I did play those. Mostly Mario RPG stuff was most of my exposure to RPGs. I didn't really play Final Fantasies. And I don't know if I remember saying this or not, but I did. Yeah, I think I said it like 3 times now. But I do like the. I do like some of the Final Fantasies, like some of the older Final Fantasies, because I'm kind of a you know, an old nitwit idiot that just likes arcade games, I guess. So there's that. I don't know. My tastes have changed over the years. Things change. I get either I get more grumpy or I get less grumpy. It's just how it is. I feel like I just get. I don't know. I feel like I've gotten less grumpy over the years. Because I feel like that part of me that was always insecure about everything is kind of disappearing. Like, people can see me naked nowadays, and I don't really give a shit anymore. People have seen, you know... It's just one of those things, like, you know, sometimes I'll accidentally, you know, whip up my cock just out of nowhere. Next thing I know, you know, I'm getting kicked out of the restaurant, so it happens. It's not that I'm afraid, you know, not that I'm nervous or embarrassed. It's just like, you know, it's their fault for seeing my cock and not liking it, I guess. I don't know what the fucking hell about anyone. I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny, but I can't do it. This is Hardcorian, guys. This is not here to joke around. Like, the hardest I've joked on Hardcorian as of recent was probably like Chapter 5, where, you know, I just completely yelled at, oh my god, I actually uploaded that video today. I just remembered. That video is actually out there on the internet now. Now people can actually watch it. But yeah, that's the closest turd monkey thing I've done on this channel recently. I can't think of any other guys that I've probably done that with. But who the hell knows? Now, you know what, if anything, maybe South Park, and that's pretty decent. And I laughed a couple of times with that one. But for the most part, Hardcorian is meant to be professional. At least until things are repetitive and nothing's happening. Which is kind of like what Lollipop ended up being, where most of everything that was happening was just most of the same stuff. I mean, yeah, you can argue that here too, but I don't know. It's just... It's funny to me because, like, Lollipop was actually, well, Bioshock was actually my most popular guide. However, Lollipop, as of recent, actually had a lot of people that liked it, and I was actually surprised. I think I've said this before, but I do want to say that I'm glad that you did, and if it helped you, I'm also glad. I know it took me 2 years to finish, but all jokes aside, in all honesty, I'm really glad that people actually liked it. It's just, for me personally, like, doing commentary of it was just kind of weird, because I just felt like the attacks were kind of slow to watch, and I just wasn't really having the best of times with it. So, I may have come off as like, oh, I don't like the game. I had to say it multiple times, and I still feel like I need to say it, but if you feel like I don't like the game, I do want to say I do apologize for that. I don't hate the game at all. Like, even the least bit slightest. I think it's a pretty nice game. It's just commentating certain games is just harder than not. And it's funny because, like, when I was doing Ninja Gaiden 2, in the first few chapters, I was actually relatively kind of bored. And not commentary-wise, but just recording. I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of boring. I don't like this. Like, at first I was like, oh, I'm not going to like commentating Ninja Gaiden 2 because it's going to be super boring. It's going to be like nothing but UTs and shit. But no, like, actually commentating it is actually... for right now, a little bit more fun than it was actually going through it. The beginning chapters are a little bit on the slower end of things, and things don't really pick up until, like, at least a good couple of chapters in. Like, you know, I don't know, maybe it's just chapter 1 I'm probably just not that big a fan of because I've just seen it so much. But in other news, I think I talked about it last time, but I've actually grown somewhat addicted to this game, and I've been trying to go for, like, trophies and stuff. And the only way to get trophies is I have to play every difficulty. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm not really talking about this guy because I'm just doing the same thing. But for those that aren't, I probably should talk about him real quick. So anyway, what I'm doing is essentially just standing underneath his crotch, and I'm trying to get him to stomp the ground. And you hold the block button while he's stomping the ground, and as soon as he stomps, or you hear the clunk on your sword, you just dodge, and that's it. You can no damage this fight. He's pretty fucking pathetic. There you go. I don't know what else to say. I've done the boss before. I think that was like, I can't remember exactly what chapter it was, but like chapter 6 or 7 or something, where he shows up. No, it's like chapter 3 or 4. What the hell am I talking about? I'm getting my chapters mixed up. Anyway, I've done that before, and that's relatively the best advice I can give you. You basically want to try to bait him to stomp the ground. Because like I keep forgetting that some people don't actually just watch these guys in order. They actually watch them depending on where they're at. But Yeah, again, just bait him into a stomp and then go for, like, triangle attacks or just nice slide attacks. That way you can, you know, if you ever need a block. I recommend going for just, like, light attacks instead of heavy. Because once you do heavy attacks, you can get stuck in the animation and you don't want that. Coming down here, of course, you have Ghostfish to deal with, so nothing special. Life of the Gods, that kind of thing. Crap, I lost my train of thought. Shit, I was talking about something earlier and I freaking forgot about it. This is why I hate doing this. Oh, something about commentary, right? Oh, yeah, so... Yeah, the trophies don't stack for difficulties. When I got the remastered for this, I instantly started up Mentor mode because, well, that's just what I do. I already played the game like once or twice before, so I have all right to do it. Also, right here, you can stand and shoot him. So, there you go. Nice little corner for you. And there's another one, too, like right near this pillar. And you can kind of sometimes get like a couple shots on this guy. So, just use... You can't get the guy in the far back, at least from these pillars. So you're better off just, you know, going toward him. He's not that bad. But, yeah, just shoot them with a bow, and there you go. But anyway, so you have to play every difficulty by itself. Like, I think there's like 4 difficulties. It's like, what is it? Acolyte, Warrior, Mentor, and then Master Ninja. And, of course, I did Mentor, I did Master Ninja, which is what you're seeing now. This is my second time through Master Ninja. And what happened, well, the thing is, even if you do Master Ninja, you're not, well, you have to unlock Master Ninja first. Even if you do Mentor mode, you don't get the trophy for easy and normal. You get it for hard. So you have to go back and play the game on easy and normal again. I just played the game on easy and collected all the crystal skulls. I was literally missing one. And the funny thing is, the one I was missing was, of course, in the Lycanthrope's castle. It was in that damn books, those bookcases, before the chimney, when I said, like, oh, there's probably nothing there. There was. That was the last crystal skull, and I'm pissed off. There's 30, by the way. So you can get all of them by the time, like, you hit, like, I think... Oh, actually, no. I don't know how... There's, like, 2 a chapter-ish. I'm trying to think of... So, yeah, you probably hit them all by, like, chapter 15, maybe. Something like that. There's, like, 1 or 2 in the chapter. Some outliers, but... Yeah. No guide for that, I'm sorry. Well, I'm just not that type of guide. Oh yeah, I fall down here. I forgot about this. Which basically means I gotta climb back up, which sucks. Also, this video went like kind of quick, though. Holy crap. Editing took longer than this. Damn. At least it feels like it did. Well, I guess it's just because, like, I mean, there's really nothing new or special. It's just most of the same guys. You do the same thing like you do every time. You know, Azuna drop, DLM, UTs, that kind of fun stuff, OTs. It's the same old song and dance. Jeez, what the hell was I... Oh, I hate doing that. I hate it when that happens. Sometimes I remember what the heck I'm talking about, but sometimes I just don't. I just have very stinky doo-doo brain, I guess. I don't know, it's just what it is. I know I was talking about the Crystal Skull stuff, and those before that. I can't remember. Oh, wait, I remember now. I was talking about the campaigns. So yeah, you have to do 4 campaigns to get all the 4 trophies for all the difficulties. And then after that, you have to do the chapter challenges, which basically is getting Master Ninja rank in every single chapter of every single difficulty. So that's 17 chapters for all 4 difficulties, just by themselves, like a standard, and you get the 4 trophies, and then you do Master Ninja rank for all of them, which is not hard, just, you know, constant UTs and OTs will get you the points. And you have to get Master Ninja rank on all 17 chapters of every single difficulty. So that's 8 full playthroughs of this game. And I am doing 9, because this one is my second Master Ninja run. The one after I eventually finished it. I didn't bother recording the first time through because I just didn't trust myself. I kind of figured I'd probably just screw up somewhere. And I felt like Master Ninja mode needed, you know, for me to beat it first, to get that respect, to be able to do it guide-wise, but really, in all reality, it turned out that, no, not really. I mean, I respect this difficulty, it's not that, it's just, for me personally, I just feel like Sigma Master Ninja just isn't really anything too scary anymore. Like, back then, I was terrified of this mode, but then I played it, and then I realized, like, this is kind of, okay, it's not shit, but it's lacking, and that's the main problem. And the only reason I feel like it's lacking is because I keep comparing it to its original predecessor, like every time. Like I know this is basically somewhat a different game, but still, it doesn't feel right, you know? I feel like I'm lesser for, you know, finishing this, and that's what I hate. I don't want to feel lesser. Like if there's a game out there that has like a difficulty setting that is essentially harder than this, then I want to feel that. I want to play that version of this game. I want to feel that pain so that I can know as well, and then I can be there and say that I've done it, or not, you know, if I fudge up. So, alright, next up is, let's say Daedalus. Next up is Dumbass, Zedonius. So, as soon as you start this fight, launch an Inferno at the 3 guys. Don't worry about hitting him with it because he just deflects it anyway. He deflects most Nimpo. I don't know if he... I think maybe the Wind Nimpo might actually be able to hit him, but Piercing Void and Inferno do nothing to him. So, there's a couple of different ways you can take out Zedonius. First of all, I'm just going to be doing the Endless Fang UT charges, and basically what you want to do is you want to keep him on ground level, and as soon as he does like very specific attacks, you just launch the UT. So, see when he grabs his head, that's when he's going for a Flame Pillar. Not too hard to figure out. He does have a grab. It's a pretty big wind-up and really easy to avoid. Now, here's the fun part. So, when he flies in the air, he'll come right back down. And when you see him, like, kind of off-camera, instantly input the X and square button when you feel like he's getting really close to you. And I'll show you in a second. Right here. Input the X and square button because I feel... I don't know if it's true, but I feel like it gives you the iframes just enough so you can avoid that. You can actually avoid that stomp, but if you're kind of like me, you're probably getting hit by it all the time. So my preference for getting rid of, you know, getting hit at all by it is just to do the X and square input to completely jump over it. And that is a Hardcorian special. Because I don't know if I'm the... I don't think... Well, this game's been out for like, I don't know, like a decade now plus. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, I'm the first person that thought of it, but during my playthrough, I tried it out, and it worked, and I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of figured out a little bit on my own. There are some other things, like, I did watch other people's guides and stuff, but I haven't seen anybody else do it, so I just kind of assumed that, oh, maybe I'm the only one. Also, when he does that laser attack, which he starts doing at half health, that will come in handy more so in his second fight, not right now. He doesn't do it very often, so. The fireballs are relatively easy to dodge. You can just run. You don't have to dodge them. You can just run past them, and most of Zedonius' attacks are relatively telegraphed to the point where they're kind of easy to figure out. Like, when you know he's doing it at Fireball when he charges it up. He usually goes for 2 or 4. Always expect him to throw 4. He can also do most of his attacks in air, as in, like, he can do his Fireballs in air, he can do the Flame Pillars in air, and what have you. But for the most part, whenever the lackeys spawn, you want to just, you know, waste them with an Inferno. If you don't have Inferno, just, you know, keep UTing and you should be okay. As long as you keep those UTs going, especially the red one, then you should be alright. There is other tricks to dealing with it. I think you can do the Azuna stuff, but it just... I'd recommend just going for this, at least for this particular fight. Once you get to the second fight, we'll do something different. But for now, just stick with that. Also, when he does that flying in the air and then he stomps the ground when he comes back down to land on the ground, if you have the Endless Fang, or just, I think any weapon in particular, if you're not doing the X and square move to get over that attack to dodge it, then what you could do is you could always just do a normal simple jump and then press the triangle button while in air. I don't know if it works for Dragon Sword, but it works for Endless Fang, where you can kind of avoid most of the damage outright. It's weird. So, it's just one of the, like, that was actually the first thing I discovered, and then after that I started doing the X and square thing, and it worked like a charm. The only reason I know about the X and square thing, the guillotine technique, in general, and by X and square I mean X plus square, like, at the same time. The only reason I know about that in general is because of Zedonius 2, which is the fight, you know, like in chapter 15 or 16, where you fight him again and he's in lava. The only reason I know about that is because of a new bullshit move he gets. But for right now, these are most of his moves. They're not that hard to deal with. They're not even that bullshit. It's this one that, well, that's the only one that I can say is bullshit. Other than that, yeah, every time he stomps the ground when he flies in the air, just X and square at the same time. When he's coming down, when you feel like he's getting kind of close, figure out the boss timing of the pattern, and you'll be all right. And just UT, and that's Zedonius. So I'll see you guys in chapter 11. So take care, everybody.